"Run, Rafi," Delmar gasped, and Rafi ran, wincing as his bare feet pounded the earth, soles cut and bruised and weeping with sores. Sores still marked his wrists and ankles too, though it had been 3 weeks since he'd been freed from his manacles. His wounds stung in the raw wind gusting in off the sea, just visible in glimpses through the foliage to their right. But he ran on, until Delmar finally called the halt, and then he collapsed at the base of a saga tree, exhausted, but still wary enough to avoid the poisonous sap oozing from each thorny knot. Tilting his head back to gulp for air, he eyed the pink fruits bobbing from the springy, arching branches, and he was suddenly so hungry, he felt dizzy. Climbing the spiky trunk was out of the question, but if Delmar boosted him onto his shoulders, he might be able to snatch a few. He licked his dry lips. Delmar blinked the sweat from his eyes and tracked his gaze. No, not ripe yet. Too risky. He was probably right. He usually was. Poison not only bled from the saga's trunk, but lurked in the rinds of unripe fruit, most potent in the palest, petering out as the rind darkened to crimson until they were finally safe to eat. These wouldn't kill them, but they might make them sick. Too great a risk when he was on their heels. Once Rafi had found Delmar's persistent rightness annoying. That was before they'd spent 3 years in prison together beneath the earth. Without sun or moon to mark the days, or even consistent meals to mark the time, Delmar had been his only constant. Always there, always steady, always right. Delmar was his brother, yes, but also his prince, and Rafi would follow him to the ends of the earth. So when Delmar's heaving chest slowed, and he pushed back to his feet, strong and sturdy and determined to set forth again, Rafi shoved down his own prickling weariness and his aching hunger, and he gripped Delmar's hand and shot up beside him. And when Delmar ran, he ran too. Side by side, step by step, breath by breath. The jungle seemed to blur around them, and time with it. His feet felt like stones bound to the ends of his legs. He staggered, weaving clumsily from side to side with each step, and though he had never been drunk, he guessed it must feel something like this. Something like drifting, mind and body, in different directions. Then Delmar was there, steadying him. Delmar, who ran on with his head high, the glow of sunset afire in his eyes. Delmar, who still looked the prince, despite his tattered trousers and the shredded tunic flapping open to expose his scratched and bitten chest. Rafi couldn't remember their father's face anymore. Only the hints of it he saw in Delmar's heavy brow and in the set of his mouth, strong, proud, even a tinge cruel, if you didn't know him, didn't know to wait and watch for the softening of his eyes and the crinkling lines that blossomed around them whenever he unveiled his kindly, kingly smile. "Come on, brother. You can do it. You can keep going." And whether it was the strength of conviction in Delmar's voice, or the calloused hand holding him up, or just the knowledge that slowing down meant giving up, with the Emperor's stone eye on their trail, Rafi dug deep into his failing reserves and kept running. "Sleep, Rafi," Delmar murmured softly, and Rafi tried. Stretched out in the damp jungle loam, he tried, but he couldn't. His mind was too alert, his senses too heightened. When he flopped onto his back, vines and leaves canopied high above him, the ocean of moon-washed sky even higher. He felt exposed without ceiling or walls to shelter him from the host of things crawling, rustling, hooting, and yowling through the night. When he rolled to his stomach, arms under his head, one ear pressed to the earth, he could hear his heart thudding against the soil, and it sounded like footsteps, running, 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 on and on and on without end. "Rafi, sleep." Delmar was only a shadow at the base of a nifwa tree, one long leg outstretched, the other bent, yet Rafi knew his brother's eyes gleamed restlessly, alert for signs of pursuit. It was so every time they halted. Delmar still awake when Rafi fell asleep, and awake again when Rafi awoke. Did he ever rest? Rafi sat up. "What about you?"